I do have an idea, though. And I was on Cleveland radio with Tony Rizzo, and I thought of something, and I'll tell you how this all came to be. Because I've gotten this question a few times, but it never made the light flash the way it did for me today. Doesn't he get credit for last year? Doesn't that count as time served? And the easy answer to that question is no, it doesn't, because it wasn't a situation where he was put on paid leave. This was, he doesn't want to play for the Texans. The Texans don't want him playing for them. The Texans want to trade him, and they are content to pay him $10 million to not play all year, if that's what it takes, as they await their opportunity to trade the Deshaun Watson contract. And it ultimately worked out. They got the Browns to give them a bunch of stuff for Deshaun Watson, and all they had to do was pay him an extra $10 million last year to make it happen. Now, so when we look at it from what's already happened, it really doesn't count. However, and this is something I saw in the CBA recently that laid the foundation for this idea. And I didn't know this. If you put a guy on paid leave, let's say you put a player on paid leave for a year, then after the fact, whatever it was that caused him to be put on paid leave, let's say there's a prosecution, an actual prosecution, not just an investigation, but he's indicted, he's prosecuted, he's tried, he's acquitted, but there's still a finding, he violated the personal conduct policy, and he's suspended for a year. What they actually do is they go back and they just take the money that he made while he was on 1 year of paid leave. He's served that year. So the 1 year suspension is canceled out. He can come back and play. And I say that, here's my point. I'm suggesting a settlement here because I don't think Judge Robinson is going to come to this decision. I don't think the league is asking for it within the confines of the procedure. But I think a fair settlement would be to treat last year as a suspension after the fact, to have Deshaun Watson pay a fine of $10 million. Every penny he earned last year, forfeited after the fact. So you treat last year as if it was an unpaid suspension. And then you tack on to it 6 or 8 games this year. Because I don't think it's enough to say, oh, hey, folks, by the way, we've decided to resolve this by saying last year was a suspension. Everything's fine now. He can play as of week 1. I don't think that's going to fly. But if you could do 6 or 8 games this year, on top of the full season last year with $10 million forfeited, that also addresses this idea that, hey, he's only got a $1 million salary this year. He misses half the year. He's losing $500,000. Something doesn't sit well with that. So you get a $10.5 million fine. Last year is treated as a suspension. Half of this year is a suspension. Did we just accidentally discover plutonium? Maybe we did. Wouldn't that be an acceptable outcome for both sides? Let me know what you think. Twitter, comments on PFT, wherever. I'll probably write something about this idea for a proposed settlement. Who knows? They'll probably settle it with some other terms by the time I get around to it. But that's something that I just think makes sense. And like so many things that make sense, those are the things that never actually happen.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.